The much leaked and highly hyped OnePlus 9 series is here. OnePlus recently took the wraps off of both the OnePlus 9 and OnePlus 9 Pro, marking the latest in the company's long lineup of high-end phones that undercut the competition in price. But what are the differences between the two phones? Before we dive in, it's important to note that the OnePlus 9 Pro is definitely a better phone, but it's also a little more expensive, with the OnePlus 9 coming in at $730 and the OnePlus 9 Pro costing $970. Is it worth that cash? Or should you save your money and just get the standard OnePlus 9? I've been using both phones and put them head to head to find out. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps support my work and I would appreciate that support. Unlike previous generations of OnePlus phones, the OnePlus 9 and the OnePlus 9 Pro have slightly different designs, and it highlights what OnePlus thinks makes for a premium phone. From the back, the phones look very similar. They both have a Hasselblad camera module on the top left corner of the back and a OnePlus logo in the center of the back. The front is where things change a little. The OnePlus 9 has a flat display, while the OnePlus 9 Pro instead has a curved display. This is a slightly strange approach to me. I've never really thought of curved displays as being more premium, just different. Some will prefer the curved display and some will want to stick with the flat one. I actually prefer a flat display. Both phones also have a hole punch cutout on the top left corner, and it's not very intrusive. Around the sides of the phones you'll get a USB-C port, a power button, a volume rocker, and a ringer switch. I would have preferred the ringer switch and power button be swapped, but I do really like that OnePlus is keeping the ringer switch in general. Both phones feel nice in the hand. The OnePlus 9 Pro is definitely a little heavier than the OnePlus 9, and that helps make it feel a bit more premium. But they still both feel good, and the edges of the displays are reachable for someone with medium to large hands. Speaking of the display, both of these phones have awesome ones, though it's also a point of difference between the devices. The standard OnePlus 9 has a 6.55-inch display with a 1080p resolution and a 120Hz refresh rate. The OnePlus 9 Pro steps that up a bit, with a 1440p resolution and a 6.7-inch size. The higher resolution is nice, but it's not really a huge deal. The 1080p display on the OnePlus 9 still looks incredible, and the high refresh rate makes for a much bigger difference than a higher resolution would. There are other ways in which the OnePlus 9 Pro's display is better too, like the fact that its refresh rate is variable between 1Hz and 120Hz. That helps conserve battery when you're doing things like looking at a photo, and having a high refresh rate doesn't make a difference. If you want one of the best screens in the business, the OnePlus 9 Pro is the way to go, but I was perfectly happy with the display on the standard OnePlus 9. The display is also where you'll find the in-display fingerprint sensor. It worked well on both of these phones, however I would have liked it to be a little higher up on the phone on both devices. Where it is now, it's a little hard to reach. Then there's the performance of the phones, and it's pretty much identical. Both phones have the latest and greatest Snapdragon 888 processor, coupled with either 8GB or 12GB of RAM, and either 128GB or 256GB of storage. They're both among the best performing Android phones out there. During day-to-day use, they performed like a dream, and coupled with the high refresh rate, the software was super responsive and quick to react. During much heavier tasks, they performed well too. They kept their performance up during heavy multitasking and loaded games nice and quickly. Games like Call of Duty Mobile and Asphalt 9 ran super smoothly. The phones are pretty much on par with the likes of the Galaxy S21 in terms of performance, and probably even beat it thanks to the extra RAM on some models and more stripped back software. That said, the iPhone still beats all Android phones in benchmarks, and will probably perform better for longer into the future. Powering both of these phones is a 4500 mAh battery, and you might assume that means the OnePlus 9 Pro, with its larger, higher resolution display, has a shorter battery life. Ultimately, however, both phones will easily be able to get you through a full day of use and into the next day. That's likely due to the variable refresh rate tech on the OnePlus 9 Pro. They both have awesome charging tech too. Both devices support OnePlus's Warp Charge 65T fast charging tech, which can get the phone from 0 to 100% in only around 30 minutes. And they both support wireless charging, which is nice. My battery benchmark confirmed the similar results. After streaming a 1080p YouTube video at full brightness for 3 hours, both phones had 75% of their battery left. The display is one difference between the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro, but the camera is the big one. OnePlus has partnered with Hasselblad for the camera on the OnePlus 9 series. However, normally these partnerships are more about branding than anything else. Both phones have a 48MP main camera, a 50MP ultra-wide camera, and a 2MP monochrome camera. But the OnePlus 9 Pro adds an 8MP telephoto camera, helping make it a whole lot more versatile than the OnePlus 9. I'm actually a little bummed that there's no telephoto camera on the standard OnePlus 9, but that's one way in which OnePlus differentiates the two models. Versatility aside, what about camera quality? Compared to each other, they're obviously very similar. At times, the OnePlus 9 Pro seemed to take slightly more colorful photos, but that could just be by chance instead of any actual differences in color tuning between the two phones. The overall quality is almost the same, except obviously when you take zoomed shots, considering the telephoto camera on the OnePlus 9 Pro. Compared to other phones, however, the cameras on the OnePlus 9 series still aren't going to be as good as they could be. You're still going going to get better shots on a flagship iPhone or Galaxy phone, and the Galaxy S21 I've been testing seem to be able to take more natural photos with better detail. In other words, the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro's cameras are good, but not incredible, a trend that has followed OnePlus over the years. I will say, however, that one area in which OnePlus has seriously improved is in night photos. Just look at a nightscape photo from the OnePlus 8 Pro compared to the OnePlus 9 Pro. Both phones ship with OnePlus's Oxygen OS 11, based on Android 11. Oxygen OS is starting to diverge from stock Android more and more, but the operating system is still stripped back and very easy to navigate. I actually kind of like how Oxygen OS looks and feels, and the extra features it offers, like the app locker. That said, I hope OnePlus stays dedicated to a relatively simple approach to Android. So, is the OnePlus 9 Pro worth the extra money? At $970, probably not. It's a better phone than the OnePlus 9, to be sure, thanks to the higher resolution display and the extra camera sensors. If you really want the latest and greatest and prefer a OnePlus device, the OnePlus 9 Pro is the way to go. But ultimately, the standard OnePlus 9 offers 99% of the best things about the 9 Pro, and if you can stand to save some money, it's the phone you should go for instead. All that said, I think it's worth considering a different phone altogether. The Galaxy S21 offers a better camera and looks better too, and you should consider buying the standard Galaxy S21 or the Galaxy S21 Plus if you want a high-end Android phone. Or skip out on Android altogether and get something from the iPhone 12 series, which come at a comparable price, perform better, have better cameras, and so on. You can buy all of these phones using the links in the description. Thanks so much for watching this video, and again, please hit the like button and subscribe if it was helpful to you. My name is Christian, and I'll see you next time. See ya.